The specialised SWORKS SL7 bike, deemed everything bike, has been dropped for the specialised SWORKS Aethos by Casper Ashgreen. Well, let's just have a bit of a discussion. Is why the hell is he like switching his bikes? Now, why would a pro rider go up to his team manager or the specialised SWORKS rep and say, hey, look, can I swap my SL7 here for a SWORKS Aethos with these specifications? It kind of says, well, hey, look, I don't really want this bike, I don't really like it. So what could be the reasons why he wants to swap from the SL7 SWORKS to a specialised SWORKS Aethos bike? Well, let's just have a bit of a discussion, hypothetical that is, about why that may be. Now, the most obvious reason is the SWORKS Aethos is known as a disc brake weight weenie. And we know that the SL7 is about 7.26 kilos in race format. So if he went to the SWORKS Aethos, he could definitely get it down to the 6.8 kilos on the dot, which is the UCI legal limit. So this may be one of the main reasons, because even though we might say, hey, look, it's only 400 and something, or 400 to 500 grams, get a backpack and put, half a kilo of weight in your backpack, and you will notice a difference. They sound small, but half a kilo does make a difference, especially when these guys really get their weight down to a minimum and they go, why the hell am I starving myself to save a kilo or whatever, and my bike's half a kilo heavier than what it should be? So that could be like a first reason why he wants to swap the bikes out. Now, the next reason is ride feel. The SL7 is supposed to be a everything bike, and it's supposed to be aero, race, everything all put into one. But maybe it didn't work out so well. Now, of course, no team or rider or specialised are ever going to say, hey, look, yeah, it wasn't the greatest model we ever made. So they're going to keep that tight-lipped. So the only way they would be able to do that is saying, hey, look, the guy or some of the riders, they're not really that wrapped in the SL7. Can we get the Aethos? So that could be another reason. It maybe doesn't descend that well. Maybe it's got a soft top tube and it just doesn't feel that well in their ride, doesn't feel, or they might not be able to set it up to them so they feel comfortable on the bike. It may be to do with the way of the geometry and the feel of the bike. Well, then we have aero gains. Now, the SL7 does look like a pretty slippery bike when you have a look at it. But the reality is that the UCI actually has rules that limit the design of the bikes. So the frames actually can't be made that aero as people may think. It's if you go look at some of the tri-bikes, you can see that they have a much more relaxed rules, and they can make the bikes more, I don't know what you call it, exotic to get more aero gains. But with the UCI bikes, they have very strict limitations, so they can't actually make the typical knacker shape that is actually the most aero. So the reality is that the biggest factors when it comes to an aero bike, on one that's a UCI compliant, is the wheels. Wheels are a big factor, and also handlebar width, because your handlebars and where your hands are actually create quite a lot of drag. And if you can narrow your hands and have a narrow handlebar, you can actually get more aero. So the actual frame itself doesn't contribute that much marginal gains as people may think. So going to a frame that's a aero pro frame like the SL7 to an Aethos probably doesn't make a lot of difference, as long as he's using the same wheels and he's using the same handlebars. Is the SL7 really as good as the advertisement's been saying? Now, we know marketing, and I'm not just talking about the bike industry, marketing in all industries oversells products. And we know that. And it can be everything from, handbags to bicycles. They claim so much more than what the actual product is. And, this is a bit of a marketing license. So the SL7 may not be the greatest bike at that pro level as it's made out to be. And that's why they're wanting to move to this other bike. They want to give it a try and they want to see if it's going to perform better for them. And it'll be interesting to see if any of the other riders go this way. And you never know, this bike may have been ordered some months ago and they've been waiting for it. And some of the other riders may also have ordered the Aethos. So it'll be interesting to see if Casper is the only person that jumps onto one of these bikes. We could actually see some of the other riders doing it, because once one rider has it, the other riders are going to say, why can't I have one of those as well? So we may actually see a bit of a landslide towards the Aethos going away from the SL7. But time will tell. So guys, that's where I'm going to leave it. Leave your comments down below. If you own an SL7 or an Aethos, what do you think of those bikes? Or have you ridden both, which you'd be a very lucky person, because they're both very, very premium, expensive bikes. Let us know what they're like down below, and what you think about a pro rider opting for a different bike. Okay, guys, that's where I'm going to leave it, and I'll see you next vid. Cheers.